Well, investors today are talking about SoFi Technologies. SoFi is a fintech company. It's been pretty popular. Bottomed out last April, just below $10, and went on a tear all the way up to over $30 a share. So we're going to look at the recent price action. They did have earnings last week. The earnings were pretty good. They met or beat expectations across the board, and that propelled the stock on huge volume above the breakout point. So that breakout point is right here. This previous high was taken out on this huge volume right here. But unfortunately, after that, the stock struggled to stay above it. It printed another new high, but then closed below the previous day's closing price and continued to struggle below that. And after today's bloodbath in the markets and pushing SoFi even further down, I think it's safe to assume that this breakout has failed and that the stock is back in the trading range. So that trading range would be the resistance level here that I marked previously, and then this line down here is the current uptrend that the stock is holding to. So I would think, based on what I saw today and what has been happening the last 5 trading days, that we are looking at this stock being pushed down at least to this trend line. Now, the other factor is that the 50-day moving average is here. I'm going to just extend that a little bit, um, where it looks like it would be going, just pull it out a little bit. So that being so close to this trend line, I always talk about this is like a magnet. So a lot of times, even though the trend line is the support, because the 50-day moving average is there and it's a much stronger signal, it'll attract the stock there. So I would most likely see it a bounce here on the 50-day. What would be the optimal situation for me to give me a possible buy signal would be a test of this 50-day where that is near the low of the day, and then pushing the stock back up so that it closed very close to this trend line, so that the only thing below touching the 50-day is just the tail of the candle. That would be an ideal situation, but the option two is that as long as it actually holds that 50-day, it's good for me. I like to initiate my buy positions on stocks that are in uptrends, markets that are in uptrends, and the stock has pulled back on somewhat low volume and is bouncing off that 50-day moving average, setting up for its next run. So what would I would expect is if it does hold this 50-day, that it would start to bounce along here, contained by this resistance until ultimately breaking out. And that has to happen soon. We're looking at something has to happen in either direction because this pattern is looking like it's getting choked off here by the end of November. So between now and the end of November, I would expect to see something. Now, if the markets continue to act poorly, uh, then I would expect to see this stock fall below this 50-day moving average and move, in which case, to me, that would become a hold and it would move into a downtrend and look for a new support level somewhere below that 50-day moving average. So that's it for now. We're going to watch this in the next couple days and see if we can get down to that 50-day moving average for a possible buy point and see how the markets go. Good luck out there.